movement, or the Irish. I'm going to start calling it the Irish. There's no nice way of phrasing this. The Irish underclass / working class nationalist movement. And there seems to be some kind of sympathy, or I don't. Maybe sympathy is not the right word, but some affinity towards Israel. And I don't know if that's purely just reactionary, because the left, because it's broken down to this kind of rather simplistic lefty, righty, tighty, whitey kind of narrative, especially online, And then we have events up north as well. And again, we've had the recent events in Northern Ireland with those two girls who were raped, or I think it's 3 now, or 2 raped and 1 sexually assaulted in the Loyalist area up north. And again, heavily underclass / working class area. And there seems to be some affinity between the class down south and the class up north. And we did have, not so long ago, people from Coolock going up to Northern Ireland and joining hands with the Loyalist working class up there. Then, of course, they came back to Ireland and they were pilloried, like they were fucking excommunicated. You can't be doing this. You don't know what you're doing. And then that all kind of went very quiet for a while. And then we have this episode in Ballymena, and there's talk there. Okay, well, we've mentioned it before ourselves here, that it would be nice if there was some sort of unifying force that could bring, nationalist and unionist or loyalist, whatever you want to call it, together. And there seems to be hate, or maybe hate's the wrong word again, but that's how it's being framed, that like hate will unite us. But we do seem to have this common enemy or common problem at the moment, which is mass immigration into Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, the UK, essentially the whole of fucking Europe, North America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, essentially the Anglosphere. And beyond, the whole of Europe as well, because it's not just confined to the Anglosphere. It's Germany, France, and it has been for a long time before us now. And so it's kind of bringing it to my mind about the whole civil war question again. And I'm thinking in Ireland, it has to be, it's going to be a class war, is what it's going to be, because the only real power the underclass have in this country is violence. And I think it's the same up north as well. We kind of saw that with Ballymena, that it started off as a march into the town up there in Ballymena, and then rather rapidly it turned into a pogrom. Going, full scale, where people are burned out of their houses, and they have to leave the area. They can't go back, and it's not just the 2 families that were involved. I don't know if they're Romanian or Roma. Again, it's very hard because of the fucking times we live in. We can't actually say who it is exactly, or at least those who are, have the responsibility to tell us the news will very rarely say who it actually was, unless it was actually, some sort of white Christian denomination male. Well, then we get that news very quickly. But if it's anything else, so the best we have at the moment, or at least I can figure out, is it's a Romanian. I very much doubt it's, Romanians proper. So it's probably members of the Roma community, and they seem to be putting a lot of Roma into this area up in Northern Ireland, which I'm not very familiar with. But 2 14-year-old boys rape these girls, I think pretty brutally. Not that it can be done gently, but they're drugged, I think, tied to a bed.
Please spare us.
Yeah.
Do we need to know that?
Well, I think we do, because it kind of gets papered over, and again, in not in the circles we're in now, but for mainstream media, it's like there's now no mention of what the actual riot was about. It's been reframed now as a racism issue.
Yeah,
and it's all sorts of fucking gone in all sorts of directions, where it's now we seem to have this another breakdown where it's being framed as identical to what happened in the 60s in the North, when loyalists put Catholics out of their homes and they had to leave their homes, and it's been stripped of all context. And we have the likes of our friend Dr. Al-Qadri coming in over the top and grabbing a hold of that. and pointing out the similarities. This is exactly like that. Again, trying to cozy up to the nationalist community. And I don't know what's going on in the nationalist community up in the north. I don't know if they're experiencing the same levels of mass immigration into their community. Again, I don't know if it's purely reaction up there. If the loyalists come out and, have these demonstrations, rallies, pogroms, whatever you call them, to get people out of their community, then it's okay. Well, in reaction to that, the nationalist community can't, because they don't want to be seen in any way, shape, or form to be aping the loyalist community. And it's all very confusing, because let's not forget the loyalist community are the previous planters. So, and it's going to be very difficult for nationalists in Ireland who have issues around immigration and the current plantation to decide with the previous planters to solve the problem of the new plantation. And then for loyalists, it's got to be rather confusing as well. Like, so, they in effect are the previous many generations back, the equivalent of what we have now, but harder to spot because they're, for all intents and purposes, without them expressly saying they are of a loyalist background, or if you get them to say the word flag and they can't pronounce it properly, well, then it becomes apparent who they are. So it's very, very confusing and a lot of problems. But I think for the working class or underclass working class, we have to come up with a better word for that, because the connotations are so negative, and people on the left are essentially, I think, like one post away from admitting that they would like to completely
gas them,
exterminate the underclass. Like the language online is just fucking incredible. Like they're only short as calling them useless eaters, and let's exterminate them. Let's put them on the trains and exterminate them.
At times they slip up and they literally say that.
Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've had a few encounters where they it's just mask off, as they say.
Yeah, and they don't seem to comprehend that the reason those people are reacting in such a fashion is because they are the ones at the moment who are being replaced. We're not bringing in doctors and engineers en masse. We're just bringing in replacements. I don't even know what they're for, really, because if they're replacements for the underclass, well, then they're not really doing anything anyway, because they're just going to be a new underclass, So we've been talking for a long time. Well, okay, maybe they will top up the likes of the guards and the army and what have you, like that. But it's the underclass who are essentially feeling the pressure. They're going into underclass communities en masse, and so we're getting that reaction. It's not happening in middle class Ireland at all. It's simply not. And again, working class and underclass tend to live in the same areas, until, if you're working class, you get enough money to remove yourself from that environment altogether, because it's not pleasant. Let's not sugarcoat it. It's just not, which is understandable. But we don't seem to want to do anything about it. There's no real effort within Ireland to uplift an underclass, and all socialist parties seem to have abandoned them, or the underclass has abandoned socialist parties. Whatever happened, it's not working, So I was in Cork. I've been thinking along these lines for a long time, but it was became apparent to me in Cork, because I did go down for that protest rally to have a look what was going on. Because I'm not obviously in favour of mass immigration. I don't really have an affinity with the protesters. I'll hold my hands up at that. Not because they're underclass. The underclass or working class or anything like that. I'm from that background myself, but it doesn't appeal to me, like the kind of religiosity of it. The fact that there's no clear direction on where it's going, and many, many years of having previously gone to protest and marches, and it doesn't really lead anywhere. It's good for morale. We've said this before. It's good for morale. It's good to let people know that there's other people out there who think like you do too. But going back to when we looked at Patriot Protest being interviewed last week by Griffith Media, much as we've issues with Patter, but he spotted the problem. It's not ever going to be a mass movement as things stand. because it's just too raw, and people aren't going to be comfortable en masse outside of a strictly working class slash underclass community to get on board with that. And I noticed the stark divide. I'll put a little video up here. Just walking by the counter protest. I'm not even sure if it was a counter protest. I think it might have been a counter protest, and I think there's a weekly kind of protest in Cork with Palestine anyway.
You know what? I saw a tweet by fucking Cork against fascism or something, whatever shite, and it said, how dare they, counter protest our thing. I was thinking, wait, so was that protest aligned with that as a counter protest, or was it just, well, I mean, it's a Saturday, did Gavin Pepper just, or whoever, pick that date and it just happened to coincide?
I think there was I think there was the weekly counter protest. Then obviously anytime there's a rally or a protest by the quote unquote right, but then there has to be a counter protest. Otherwise, everybody might join. But people aren't, they're not going to get on board with right wing rallies because there's a counter protest. If anything, that would just encourage people to go more, just to shut these fucking soy titted people up, because it's most of the counter protests are embarrassment. They've no real effect on anything other than making the counter protesters feel like they're actually doing something to stop the fash. And if you want to stop the fash, you have to get rid of the word fash, because it's very fucking it's very cringe altogether. Every time I hear it, I can't help it.
It's like bougie.
It's
like for bourgeois. Bougie. Oh, come on.
It's 20, 30 years out of date, and even then it was only fashionable for a week. So unless you're 70 years of age, hippie or something, you can't be getting away with saying fash. So I think there's a weekly protest, and obviously this was coming up on the back of the Dublin protest, so they would have pumped resources into it, and I was kind of surprised because I expected maybe 100 counter protesters, probably max 200, based on what happened in Dublin a couple of weeks ago, because I think it was estimated anywhere, again, wild estimations depending where you're getting the news from, but from 10,000 to 50,000 people, and counter protests again anywhere from 100 to 1,000 people. So I thought figures would probably be maybe half that for Cork. But I went, had a look, came across the March for Palestine and the counter protest first, and I was surprised how many people there were. There was a lot of people there, and a lot of different organisations, Sinn Féin, Workers' Party, this group, that group, maybe 20, 30 different groups in total. And then the makeup of the people. So we'll just, I'll share this screen here so we can have a little look at the video. Again, maybe the sound might be a bit too high, so just let me know. You okay there? Can we see the screen?
Yeah.
Again, I got here so, and again, it's hard to know. People should wear badges or something to let you know who's who, because both sides are now using the Irish flag.
And that's great. I love that. A little bit of chaos.
Yeah, it's like who's who, and it's very hard to know. I didn't include it in this. Maybe after the show when we edit, I'll include it. But some guy spoke to me for 20 minutes. He thought I was one of the Palestine protesters, and he just bent my ear with an inordinate amount of horseshit. You wouldn't fucking believe it. They're telling me well, first of all, it's isn't it great that the right and the left are finally coming together?
Okay.
And I was like, what are they? That's news to me. And he said, yeah, they're marching together. So he got confused because they were in very close proximity. And then I was confused, and I started questioning myself. I thought, or maybe it's a new form of gaslighting. It's okay, we are all one now, finally. And from there, he started telling me he didn't want to be on camera. Then 2 minutes later, he told me he did want to be on camera. He wanted to give me his phone number. He wanted me to contact him at a later date to interview him about his life story. He started telling me that he'd been waiting 10 years for an ADHD diagnosis. And I was like, really? Well, you'd never fucking know that. And then 5 weeks ago, he got the diagnosis. So I tried to ignore him, but it wasn't happening. He just kept fucking talking and talking. So I engaged with him. So I asked him, okay, oh, did they give you medication? Because yes, he said they put him on Ritalin. I'm saying, how are you getting on with that? And he said, I'm not taking it. I said, all right, that's novel. Like, you're fucking bemoaning the fact that it took 10 years to get a diagnosis. Now they give you some medication you're taking. He goes, yeah, I don't like the way it makes me feel. It makes him not ADHD anymore, but he misses that. So he's now that he has the diagnosis, he's fully embracing his neurodiversity. And so that's what I knew it was over. It was like, okay, that's wonderful. So then he just kept going on. Then he was telling me about his mother. Isn't it terrible that we didn't have domestic violence legislation brought in until 1994? And I'm like, did we not? And then I'm trying to talk to him foolishly, because most people, when you enter into those kind of conversations, the other person doesn't want to hear what you're saying at all. They just want you to be quiet and listen to everything they're saying. And I tend to indulge it too much. So he started telling me, he had to witness his mother being beaten by his father. And if it wasn't for that law, well, then many other women would have suffered the same fate as well. And I tried to make the point, well, kind of laws they're only kind of good after the fact. But no, he wasn't having it. He was convinced that we need more laws to solve all our problems.
Oh, mommy, save me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I left him. I left him fucking be, and I walked on. Right, so we'll have a look at this. We'll just have a look at the people. So no, there's the devil. You see, there's a lot of people don't understand what's going on with imagery and stories that are being told in the background that the average person who isn't schizophrenic wouldn't notice. So these guys are singing the devil is dead, the devil is dead. And then in across the screen walks the devil himself, an Iranian, I believe he is. Or Roma. Could be. It's hard to know. We see. We need to start putting labels on people. Badges, some sort of star system. So we can identify people properly.
Oh, Jesus, get it off the screen.
Like, so I don't know. I was thinking transsexual. I don't know. See,
it's even a lot more disconcerting that he or she just floated across the screen.
Yeah, it's an apparition. But again, we can already see the kind of makeup of the crowd here. This kind of creature doesn't appear in underclass and working class areas. Not a lot. I never saw it growing up. When I go back and visit, when I go back to Dublin, first of all, I go to the zoo, and then I do tours of underclass areas just around the day off. I very rarely see this type of creature floating around. Yeah, we know the same kind of middle class hippie teacher. A lot of teachers in the crowd. Yeah, again, we could just see. Like, I always look at people's shoes. That's how I judge people.
Oh yeah,
yeah, by their shoes. You can tell by the footwear somebody's socioeconomic status.
Well, I'm gonna have to move us out of the way there for a second. Okay.
Yeah. So if it's
wow,
if it's anything other than Adidas,
yeah.
Yeah. So again, you can tell immediately. Like, so hiking. Generally, underclass, working class people don't wear these kind of hiking shoes, and we just know. You just know by generally looking at the clothing who we're dealing with. Again, there's only be one community these guys are coming from, and that's a middle class community. There are no bongos in the concrete jungle. You only get bongos in the real jungle and middle class communities. Or maybe there's a stray working class guy who gets too heavily involved in marijuana. That culture.
Yeah.
He picks up a bongo, Galway leading the crowd. Shame on you, Galway. Shame on you.
We won't be silent.
I don't fucking know.
We won't be silent. Stop
We-
the violence. All right, fair
Yeah,
enough.
I
Whatever.
suppose it's something new. It's better than free food.
Yeah,
Palestine.
yeah. They change shit up.
Oh damn.
All right.
So we just get the idea, kind of
Yeah,
very
we
kind
know
of
who we're looking at. Yeah.
yeah, So again, it's just come
Yeah.
back
I
from a
mean,
5
this
year
one.
month.
All sorry. What?
I
Sorry.
said just come back from 5 months in Nepal. At his
Mm,
parents' expenses, come back
mm.
enlightened, and it looks like he's about 7 foot fucking tall as well. Like that's
Yeah,
impressive.
that's yeah. He's quite he's quite a towering man.
Yeah.
And I noticed this woman almost in the dead center, all white. You know that
Yes, very pale.
that's not. Oh no, clothes, all white.
Oh,
You
here.
know that's
All
that's
right, yeah.
that's not easy to pull off. You know, and it's not a thing that you see in other communities, is it?
No, yeah, and again, because now I don't want to tar all middle class people with the same brush because they do have problems. But again, no real immediate existential threats to their existence or life. And
Well, that they're aware of,
yeah,
seemingly. Yeah.
yeah. But again, in the absence of that, because it's a vital part of human nature and for human development to have threats. It's how society kind of progresses and
Mm,
come up with new and more interesting weapons to protect ourselves and outsmart people like the Arabs. So again, they have to import them. So or maybe it's just because it's too risky, it's too real to get involved with real threats that exist in Ireland. That this is
mm,
a massive cope. It's like, okay, well,
right.
I'm just going to distance myself from the real issues, and I'm going to focus exclusively on this issue in Palestine that I can never actually affect. And if it all goes to shit, well, it's
Yeah.
not affecting me. I'm just my latte will still be there in the morning.
Yeah, and you can't be blamed
Yeah,
because you didn't
yeah,
have any part in it. Yeah.
yeah. But you can feel good about yourself because you tried everything you could
Yeah.
to stop it, bar going over there, joining up with Hamas, and trying to have a direct impact.
Could you imagine Hamas taking on these guys?
I know, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we have one. We can see one use for you girls immediately. Sit down there for a minute. We've had boys in the field. They've been out for a long time. Yes, we have a type of use for people like you. Sexual jihad. Welcome to the club, girls. Take a seat. No, when I say seat, I mean lay down on your back. There are no chairs in this room for thee. Obligatory tranny. Has to be bread, not bullets.
What
fair enough.
the fuck?
I know, right? It is that it has to be a dude, doesn't it, or a Jewish woman? One of two. Like,
I don't know. I don't want to be unkind.
I'll go on. You may as well.
Like it could be a woman. I mean, like if we were in a different era, if this was 2010 ish something, I'd be like, yeah, that's just an unfortunate looking woman, and I wouldn't even mention it. I wouldn't make a deal out of it. But now, because this trans stuff, I have to point out when a woman doesn't look like I expect a woman to look. It's kind of fucked up.
Look at those forearms. Like, come on.
Oh, right. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she had a child. Funny things happen to a woman's body, man.
Not the forearms. They don't develop male muscular forearms. There's certain areas that loosen up and widen, but it's not the forearm.
Right. All right.
And again, well resourced, well organized. Been to the printers.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't just make a homemade sign like the one that just passed by there. Like that costs at least a couple of €100 to have a printer make that up for you. Then again, here the homemade sign, we can see, use of decent fonts. Could be Calibri 42 point bold font used on that. So a lot of work has gone into it. You can tell there's been a higher level of education. Maybe it's a school project that's taken place. Again, Cork lawyers for Palestine. And then, it's good to see this, not in any kind of sick way, but that is happening, and nobody disagrees with any of that. I've just been distracted by this. That's beautiful. I have to say.
Oh, fuck me.
Perfect. Isn't that wonderful?
And they fucking oh my god, is the amount of shit these people back in the day talked about pro-life people on the street showing fucking pictures of aborted fetuses.
Yeah.
And then they come out with this shit.
Yeah, it's only if it's out that it matters. If there was a huge issue with abortion in Palestine, there wouldn't be a peep out of these people. And you're right. The photographs of an aborted baby are horrifying. I accidentally came across one on X the other day, and
dude, 20 years ago, and I can't get the first one out of my fucking head.
Yeah, I remember those giant posters up on the billboards as well. Like, just fucking shocking. Yeah, so that's people watching mightn't realize, but this is our friend. He had agreed at one point to come on to our show.
Oh.
Oh, did you not know when I said Jimmy? Did you not know who I was talking about? No.
When did you mention Jimmy?
I mentioned it in the chat on Discord.
I missed that one. Yeah. Sorry, Jimmy. Fucking Jimmy.
We approached Jimmy to come on to our show a long time ago. I think at the time he was protesting against the Canadian trade agreement. Was trade?
Yes, the North American thingy majiggy that we were all in or something.
Yeah,
globalist stuff.
Yeah. So we asked Jimmy if he would like to come on to the show, and he did. He said yes, he would be delighted to come on to the show, and we were very excited about it.
Yeah.
And then he bottled it. Then he had a look at the website and decided that we weren't for him. That he sent a rather kind of weak, limp-wristed reply saying he's afraid that unfortunately he just couldn't see that things would work out between us. It wasn't us, it was him, and he's not looking for a relationship right now. And he declined our kind offer. Yeah, he went back on his word.
But you nailed him right away. I remember you said, look what he starts off with. I'm afraid.
Yeah, he let us know straight away. He's afraid, and that's fair enough,
Yeah,
at least he didn't have to go to tell us; it just slipped out. So, yeah.
We're under 24 hours to go to the show as well.
Yeah, he panicked. But again, he didn't do his due diligence. But we weren't getting him on under the guise of something else. We actually wanted to hear what he had to say. We weren't then going to turn him and go, where are you faggot? Where we actually wanted to hear what the guy had to say. But then he wasn't having it. So then we turned him into a character for the show, and we put him on a Down syndrome horse. Made fun of him for 3 or 4 weeks.
We turned his name into a verb.
Yes.
Because he wasn't the first to Jimmy us.
Yes, we've been stood up many a time, and
he wasn't the last.
Yeah, only a brave few have come on to the show for an interview. And anytime they have, we've been nothing but nice. We get criticism because we're too fucking tame, but we just genuinely want to hear what these people have to say, But he wouldn't do it, and we found out where he lived, down to his doorstep. We didn't do it for any sort of nefarious reasons. I know it's hard to believe that when you hear somebody say, we found out where he lives. We know where you live, Jimmy. On the show, we're coming to get you. But again, because people just put all their information out there. But it's good to see Jimmy back. He's looking a bit better. He's lost maybe 6 £7.
That's how I was. I recognized that face, but it wasn't clicking for me.
Yeah. Not a bad guitarist, I has to say, but he's had lots of
Mm.
practice because he's been holding a one-man protest outside the Dáil for Palestine. I think he's on day 257 now. Like every day up to the
I
Dáil
mean,
for an hour to play the guitar.
props where it's deserved, you know.
Yeah, so you keep playing that guitar, Jimmy. Eventually, they'll get sick of it so much so that even the Jews will start to hear it, and they'll pull out of Palestine just because they just put a stop to the music. But fair play, like
Yeah.
it's not like he went on hunger strike for 7 days. This guy couldn't last 2 fucking days. Let's
No.
be honest. Like
He
2 hours
looks
is probably a stretch. Like he's probably got
he
a
looks
sandwich.
like a little angel with the wings coming out.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I never noticed that. Yeah. There you go, Jimmy, the angels. Could be angels, we could be fucking demons ourselves. We just
Oh
not
yeah,
not
yeah,
aware
yeah.
of it. But I bet you there's a ham sandwich in one back pocket and a jam sandwich in the other back pocket. And as soon as no one's looking, he's fucking scoffing into those to get the blood sugar levels back up. Not sure who this woman is. Could be anyone though, because we know female singers are drawn to this movement like a moth to a flame. Anything for a bit of exposure. This is a time traveler from 1970, porn star from the 70s. I thought we were done with the mustache. Like, is it making another comeback in these fucking circles, like to make people feel more manly? Is it? Yeah, it's not working. It's just not like if I saw him in the playground, or at the school unaccompanied, I'd be ringing somebody to come and take this guy away. It just doesn't look well, and especially with the badge on your hat. It's a serial killer, isn't it? Like it's that's where you expect to see this. It's on some sort of Netflix fucking
Yeah.
documentary.
Yeah, just put a bit of grain on the footage.
Yeah, some ominous music. At least they know what their women are doing in the Middle East, as you can tell by the position she's in, like getting ready for Muhammad.
Oh, Jesus
Muhammad's
Christ.
been out murdering and pillaging after a long day. He's come home to Fatima, and there she is, ready to welcome him into the house.
And she has to bend over so she looks like a man from behind.
Yeah, put a bit of blackface on, just keep Muhammad happy. French piggies. Big Garda presence on the day. Not so much on the left. Not expecting. Don't expect any trouble from the left wing people at all. I saw maybe 2 guards up there. Then this is where we cross over. So this area here was I think the anti-protest part. So you can see very, very few people there. So I think I'd initially confused this anti-protest with the march that was happening up the other end of the road, and we put the two together. But we can take it as fact that indeed, if you're marching for Palestine, well, then there's a high probability that you're in opposition to what's happening at the other end of the road, which is essentially neo-Nazis have gathered. And that's what the true meaning of this rally in their eyes is. It's about killing all people who aren't white, having a pure race going into the future. And so when we get here again, you can almost immediately see the change. And maybe this guy, I think this guy is some sort of operative. It could be either underclass or working class. And I'm going to upset a lot of people by mentioning these things, but they have to be mentioned because it's a real fucking thing. It's a real dynamic. There isn't large groups of middle class people coming to this movement. They might have sympathies with it, but they're not coming on board. And I think there's a couple of different reasons. So we'll play this. And again, the tracksuit, the kind of normal attire for underclass. I'm getting uncomfortable talking about this, but these are my people, so it makes me uncomfortable. But I have to fucking
It doesn't make me feel uncomfortable because I'm a white collar worker, but I'm poor.
There you go.
So I kind of fit in there, but I dress like I guess a hipster, almost.
You're worse than all these people put together. Like we're coming to you next. Like coming to your class. Like white collar fucking scum, contribute nothing to society. You're the reason for all this happening. Like that's it. Like you're the fucking devil in disguise. You corporate filth. Yeah, so the riot squad, just in case anything kicks off. Plenty of those guys around. Autistic guards, they're hiring autistic guards now, like the air defenders. But I could even notice the tone. Like it shifted. So, there'll be a lot of kind of music, very organized, kind of an upbeat vibe. And then you cross over here, and you can kind of tell immediately, not as organized, organic. People have just heard about a protest, they're turning up to support it, and that's it. Beyond that, there's no kind of mass organization behind it. There's no real money that's been pumped into it, in contrast to the other one, which has, because you can tell it's being organized. If you have, bands and stages, and you've managed to get 26 different groups together where they come out with their banners, like, so it's middle class, so you have to advertise, like, well, Roisin, if we're going to the protest, well, then we have to advertise the company. So I think, as four of us are lawyers, let's call Michael, get him to do up a banner for us, call it Cork Lawyers Collective, put a little phone number down the bottom and a website address. We might get a bit of clientele out of it as well, and show that we're on board with the poor Palestinians.
Well, look, on the left side, you also have like established sacraments and rituals. You go there, you're a part of the procession, kind of like, even today, in many Catholic countries going back fucking 1,000 years, you go out and do the procession, and you dress like, like a Klansman, that kind of thing, and whip yourself. These people, they do the chants, and then, they gather at the altar to listen to the speeches and the music, and, it's established. While, this isn't, and I don't know, what would I prefer,
Yeah, I would prefer to stay at home, to be honest with you. Like, I've no time for this. I have no time for that one. I don't have much time for this one. We need to start something new. If people need this in their lives, which they do, let's be honest, people need a focal point. People need spiritual nourishment of some description. The Catholic Church, they have their time. They're not doing it. Nobody's going to turn to loyalism. Come on, like, let's get fucking real. And wokeism, for lack of a better term, it's done. It's had its day. It's stale already. Nobody's really that interested. People aren't joining en masse, and people aren't staying around to listen to the speeches from fucking 1890, where people are calling you comrade. It's too douchey. It's too cringy. People just can't really get on board with it. So we'll have a little walk through the crowd here.
What are they cheering? Do you know?
That was just a wow. I think, I don't know, again, because it's not very organized. And it's the one on the left where you have guys with megaphones, and so they chant. People will chant maybe 50 meters down until the noise of the megaphone goes out of earshot. Then obviously you can't chant. So this was broken up between cheers of, it was mainly our streets, whose streets, our streets, whose streets, our streets. Right. Spontaneous renditions of the national anthem up to the Tour de Fort line, because let's be honest, very few people know what comes after that. It's
not a fucking chance. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about me as well.
Yeah, me too. It's time to lip sync, I was like, Sean, then it's like, and then you get to the end, Seanig, Fonig, around the bean. But again, for the left, that's a sign of, underclass. Like the underclass don't know the national anthem. How dare they even say they're Irish? You don't even know the fucking national anthem. How could you be Irish? Because that's all Irishness is. Can you speak the language?
The Free State.
Yeah. Do you know the national anthem? Yes. Well, then you're Irish. That's the new citizen test in Ireland. So.
Don't forget the pint Guinness.
Oh yeah, can you down? Yeah, I mustn't be Irish at all.
The English drink, yeah.
I can't hear that fucking stuff. Stolen from Jamaica. Appropriated from the Jamaicans. The LP. Yeah, that's where I was originally brewed.
No.
And the drink, yeah.
Oh no! Now they're dude, no, they're going to start saying, "Look, they stole our fucking booze from us."
Yeah, well, that's it. It's symbolic, isn't it? Like 90% black and then 10% white creaming it off the top of the hard work of the black. The black bottom of society. Every time you take a sip, you're rubbing that in to the black people and their struggle with colonialism.
Jesus Christ is King!
Wow.
I know, right?
What was that for?
I don't know, because he said, I'm just standing there with the camera.
You're observing.
Right? No.
And isn't she doing the devil horns?
Yeah, so I was horribly confused. I was even more confused at the time because I thought she said, Jesus Christ, there's fucking kids, right? Because in my mind, I'm expecting that at some stage, because I go out every now and again with the camera, that somebody's going to get upset and tell me to put the camera away. And 9 times out of 10, that's what people use as a way to shame you. There's kids. So I edited this because I told her to fuck off, because I didn't know she said Christ is King. I thought she said Jesus Christ, there's kids. So I said, oh, fuck off, will you? And she went walking up the road. But then I got back, had a look at the footage, and this was more bizarre. Because I don't know who the woman is. If you know who this woman is, please don't fucking hate me. If you're listening in, don't hate me. I don't know you. But when someone walks by who says Jesus Christ is King, does a devil sign, well, then I'm thinking, okay, this is some sort of fucking demonic entity that's taken possession of this woman's body. I've never heard someone say Jesus Christ is King and give the devil sign at the same time.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that about? And I could have used that as the thumbnail for the original video, but I didn't. I was kind because this is, I'm sympathetic to this movement. So, But
KO asks, where did you hear that Guinness comes from Jamaica?
From Jamaica, I studied law under an old Jamaican man. What was the name of the school? Fucking Kiki Drinkstein's law school. I spent 3 months in Jamaica studying law in Kiki. I can't remember. Maybe was it Kiki or Kiki. Kiki Shekelsberg, was it? Or that was a different word? That's my agent. Sorry, Kiki Shekelsberg is my agent. So when I was studying law, well-respected Jamaican lawyer told me the history of Guinness. Okay. God we need now. I was very surprised by the amount of God signs. That threw me. I had no idea that a lot of this was wrapped up in Christianity and Catholicism. I thought it was pretty much dead, and I thought the whole kind of Christian right and Christian nationalism was confined to the United States. But it does make sense because a lot of this crowd seems to be drawing from the MAGA movement in the States, and I'm sure you see a lot of people wearing the caps, Make Ireland Great Again, and that's understandable. And again, a good template to use, but that didn't happen overnight. That's a fucking 20-year project with Bannon and the likes of those guys, and a lot of kind of money, time, effort, and previous work that went ahead of it. But I didn't know that the Christian nationalism is part of this movement as well, and I think that's going to put a lot of people off. Really,
it's a loaded. It's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, and it's a recipe for disaster. You're not going to build a cohesive, large scale movement in Ireland if there's any sort of religiosity at the
Well,
front
that's what
end
I
of the
mean. Like
yeah.
a propaganda bomb waiting to go off. Someone's going to fucking pick a hole in it.
Oh yeah, and then even internally, like just for the
Mm,
internal dynamics, if you, it's just it's a clusterfuck. Like
yeah.
there's Noel Boylan. Not looking great. Niall's back on the gear.
I just thought Miley.
Miley or Niall Boylan. Like I said before, we're a handsome race. God, we were blessed with the gift of the gab. Otherwise, you may never get a ride anywhere on the international market. Again, I'll comment on that as well. Just saying again, a lot of middle class types on X are welcoming the new arrivals because they're essentially saying that these people are genetically inferior and need to be disposed of, which again is very Nazi-like, isn't it? It's very eugenicist of them, isn't it? Okay, well, we need to wipe out this entire class, bring in a new class to replace them, who will be more productive, and we will be able to squeeze more juice out of them, at least for 5 years. Like, what are we going to do after fucking AI takes most of the kind of low skill jobs anyway? Because then we're on to kind of mid range jobs as well if we're not already there now. So I can't understand why they would need to be replaced. Surely it would just make more sense to get rid of them altogether and then not have them replaced and just replace them with the robot, but maybe it's some sort of intermediary measure, or perhaps we're all going to war with Iran. I've noticed in the States recently the propaganda adverts for the US military, they start using white people again, straight white males in their recruitment
Oh,
advertisement
wow. I
campaigns.
wonder why.
Yeah, I know. It's like maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a war coming. It's time to put away the faggy adverts to attract the
The
weak
black
wristed in. Now
women.
we need
Yeah.
white men to go and fight
Yeah.
for someone else, to fight for the horned Jew is awaiting
Oh,
the fresh
no.
blood of young Aryan fucking. Yeah.
Oh, man. I mean, we're starting to get some good fucking traction on this channel. Will you cool it?
Sorry, we have to use a different word. What
Yeah.
word do we use? But see, depending who's listening, like I've been called a lot of people call me Zionist later as well.
Mm.
Even more than that, they've been shortening it to Zio, which again is very cringe. Like if you want to be taken seriously, just call someone a Zionist. Don't call them a Zio. It's
Yeah,
showing your middle class belly right there. If you, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's a fash Zio. Like, come on.
Can I have 2 minutes? I need to evacuate.
Yeah. Go ahead. There we go, the national anthem. I sang along for a bit, but like I said, I don't know the full national anthem. We're gonna stop here. We'll keep this here for Howard, because one of the other reasons I went to Cork to kind of observe the protest for maybe the last, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years, we've been fascinated with one person in Irish politics. And hands up, I just have to say, we love the guy, but it's just comedy gold surrounds this man, and he pisses the left off no end. They fucking hate him with an absolute passion, which shows that he's doing something right. And so I went down in the hopes that I would come across Gavin Pepper. And I don't know if you saw earlier in the video when we were looking at Jimmy, one of the signs that the left people were holding up the protest said the only great replacement in Ireland is Gavin Pepper's hair, right? Because there was a rumour going around that maybe a year ago that Gavin Pepper had taken a holiday from politics and went over to Turkey and got a hair transplant. and there's certain images of him, kind of pre going to Turkey, where he was balding, which isn't nice for a dude. Let's be honest, it's hard to cope with. And then there's photos of him on holiday, like the first 2 days, he just has the kind of same hairline that we're all used to. And then, maybe 3, 4, 5 days into the holiday, we see further pictures, and you can see where the kind of, I don't know how they do the operation, but I believe they get like plugs of hair and then like start hammering them into the head. But you can see where the little kind of plugs of hair have been put in. And then over time, you're looking at the kind of hair growth and before and after pictures. And depending on what picture it is, with Gavin, you can never really tell if the hair plugs are taking or not, because some photographs it looks great. He could have a full head of hair. Other photographs, you think he's completely balding. So I'm just saying, one of the reasons to go to Cork was to see if I could track down Gavin Pepper.
Yeah.
Who we love and adore.
Absolutely.
But is also a well of comedy gold.
Yeah.
So every goes comedy fucking surrounds him, and he really pisses off people on the certain type of people on the left.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah, and then like I wanted to if you're going to have these questions, like you have to get in amongst the crowd, and you have to do these important undercover investigations to find out the truth of the matter. So I went down there, really to find Gavin Pepper and to examine his head to see if it was indeed a hair transplant and how it's actually taking. So I tracked Gavin. Okay. This is Gavin here in front of us.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. So can we? No, we always have problems zooming on this fucking piece of dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, we're not going to be able.
You know what? Do you want me? Do you want me to do it? I'll make this an image. Yeah, I'll make this an image, and then
Yeah, but we can even say that it is a bit patchy. It has to be said. Like it's not graying, but it is quite patchy.
Move your mouse away there. Right.
Oh, you want to take the photo? Yeah. What we'll do, we'll enhance the photo as well. Make it into a 2-hour video for next week. But again, I just followed like, joking aside, like that. They did make a big deal out of that. Like I think there was like 2 weeks of a Twitter pylon about Gavin going to Turkey to have hair transplants.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I saw a fucking fire tweet there a few days ago from a leftist. It said, "The only great replacement is Gavin's hairline."
Yeah, I did that one already. You're a minute and a half late. Sorry. Yeah. And we need to get you an earpiece when you go for a piss, so you can keep track of what's coming. Yeah. That was a really that was at this protest where that sign was taken from. So that's what I was saying when Jimmy was on stage singing. Someone to the left of me there, I was wondering if people noticed it when we were put the footage by, but they were holding that sign up that said the only great replacement is Gavin Pepper's hairline.
Okay.
So we I just followed Gavin.
Okay.
I was very happy, like, so then in my own mind I know, he has had a hair transplant. Well, he's looking good. He's lost a bit of weight. Probably needs to do some leg work. Jocks are coming down a bit there. There's not much more to see here, just the guards again.
Do we want that zoom in of Gavin's head?
No, there's not. Okay. We're past that. So a lot of public order unit on the street. And there was a couple of 100 cops all around in the town that day.
All right.
That's a male, looks like a female one, but no, it's a male. And they all seem to have their epaulets on, which is good. Oh no, that guy doesn't. Look at him. I never even fucking noticed that.
Shit. Oh, come on.
Looks like a fucking Nazi too.
Yeah, a real scummer.
Yeah, okay. What we'll do, we'll be edited as well. We'll clip this out. Put it out there for people if they see this guy at a protest. Stay the fuck away from him. One, if he's not wearing epaulets, he can't be a new recruit, because they wouldn't be in the public order unit. So, looking at one of Harris's special men. Oh no, hang on. Okay. Yeah, he has his epaulet there.
Oh, okay. All
But it
right.
should be there, not fucking there.
Yeah. So it can be seen from any angle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming from all corners of.
Okay, so we'll just sort of have a quick listen. No, we'll have a quick listen to some of the speech. Not all of them. If it becomes too much, just let me know and I'll skip forward.
Ireland, north and south, and I even met a guy who came back from Switzerland today to be here. So,
Who came back from Switzerland?
Some guy, I don't fucking know. But again, you see, and I've heard a lot of people complain about this movement because of the people who are involved, and they're valid criticisms. There's a lot of egos in it.
Yeah.
People are kind of squabbling to get on stage to push their own agendas, be they political or as kind of shallow as just people who've gained a lot of traction on social media circles, and then they want to be part of the head of this movement. And that's essentially because it's, for all intents and purposes, it is leaderless at the moment. It's a grassroots organization, or just, it's not even an organization, it's just a grassroots upswelling of frustration and emotion. And it's currently leaderless. And the person who's kind of, maybe leader isn't the right word, but more of a containment is Malachi Steenson. So he's kind of guiding it, not towards anything really, but guiding it away from a certain development, which is violence and the burning of houses, and what we see happening up north. That's what and Malachi said this himself a long time ago when we went back to East Wall, that he saw what was happening, that the community was going apeshit, not happy with this at all, and he just saw it was essentially leaderless. He understood where it would go. Naturally, if left to its own devices, and a lot of people want that to happen. Like, a lot of people go, okay, well, fuck it, like, we need to burn the place down, right? We need to burn every place to the ground, and that is effective. Like, it will get rid of people, but tempered with that is the fact that the state is far more fucking violent than any group could ever be. So we might get that initial, adrenaline rush to get it out of our system. Yes, we burned something to the ground, or we killed a couple of fucking refugees. But then what comes after that is terrible. We all end up in an internment camp. We're away from our families for 10 years and stuff like that, And that's not to say that, okay, well, that should be off the table forever. There's certain things we can't really discuss on YouTube. But, some strategies are for particular times. Like, if this movement was essentially just to go apeshit, like what happened up in the north very recently, it would be crushed in fucking days. Like, people would be rounded up, they'd be put in prisons. It would isolate, 99% of anybody in the country who's in any way sympathetic towards it. It would be an absolute fucking disaster, right? To my mind. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it would become massively popular. People would swarm to it, and we'd be fucking barbecuing immigrants, every Saturday and Sunday, or they would all move out and go. And we'll talk about that when we look at Northern Ireland again. The kind of what positives, if any, can be taken from it. But I think that's why Malachi is there. And I know people are saying, "Well, he's controlled opposition, like he's been put in there by certain people." I don't know if that's the case, and I will never know. And I'm not really that interested, because I really don't want to get involved in that kind of horseshit. Like, I don't want to be arguing with people about, is he a plant? Is he not a plant? Is he controlled by the Jews? Is he controlled by, British intelligence? He used to be a Marxist. He's not a Marxist now. He's a nationalist. He's a Republican. It's too much horseshit for me, right? But all I know
people
is,
need to look after their own asses.
Say again.
People need to look after their own fucking behinds.
Yeah, so exactly. We'll touch on that further as well, because that's an important point as well. When we go up north, that people are looking for this kind of fucking perfect messiah type figure to step forward and do everything fucking for them. From blow up people, kill immigrants, fucking bury the government, create a utopian society for them, be Christ at the same time, while they do fucking nothing, other than, bitch on fucking social media about it. And we all do a little bit of that, which is fine. But most people don't tend to, then berate everybody else. Say, well, why aren't you out there killing? Where's the IRA when you fucking need them? The IRA where you need them. The IRA's in the mirror if you want to go and look at them. Go into your bathroom, turn the fucking light on, and look deep into the mirror. And if you keep staring for long enough, the leader of the new IRA will fucking look back at you in the mirror. But if you can put the mystery together in your own mind, you see somebody else's face appear in the mirror, yeah, just wait for them to knock on the door and tell you what to fucking do, But yeah, we'll have a listen to this. I don't know who this man is.
Okay.
I really don't. But we'll have a listen.
But there's one lady that inspired me the other day. I just bumped into her there. I don't know her last name, but most you probably know her. Her name is Teresa. She's from Trimna. This is the woman who stood up for her Christianity and infiltrated an IE festival.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Fair play. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, again, it does make it sound more dramatic than it actually was, And it's like
Yeah.
And to say it as Eid makes it sound like ID, as if it was some sort of explosive device. But it does take balls to do that,
Yeah.
To go in there and to make the valid point, and it's a very fucking valid point. Like, hang on a minute, like I thought we're supposed to be in this inclusive, all-inclusive society, but yet, a Christian goes into a Muslim prayer service and they're ejected. Granted, to start saying the rosary.
Yeah, but you know what? Stephen and Susan of the Irish Inquiry were in there, and they were completely respectful.
Okay.
And they did nothing, but they were followed, they were harassed, and ultimately ejected from the event.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. So if there's, we can't have that in a supposed open and free society. If there's any sort of Catholic religious event, everybody's welcome. You don't have to be a Christian to go into a Christian church. Granted, you can't partake in communion, but if you really wanted to, nobody would fucking stop you. They're not checking baptismal certs when you're taking communion. You can go up and take it if you want, but you're not going to be ejected from unless it's a private ceremony. But then yes, but I don't believe the Eid celebration in Croke Park was a private festival. It was ticketed, wasn't it? Anybody could really apply to get tickets, but maybe they just weren't expecting any Christians to show up, and it would only be Muslims. And of course, they can't ask the question online for the tickets. Are you A, Muslim, B, Christian, and then say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we can't give you a ticket because you're a Christian." But when you get there, and again, maybe with the cameras as well, that's going to put people on edge. But the bigger point is that there is a danger with this fucking religion, and not just that religion, but any other religion. Because as we look around the world, what's happening with fucking when you don't have kind of homogenous societies, like look up north, what's happening again. There's always some sort of lesson that when you have a pretty stable, homogenous society, by and large, not that it becomes a fucking nightmare collectivist drone society, but when you have people who generally look like each other, share the same moral framework and outlook on life, well, then things generally tend to go along well and swimmingly, most of the time. But when you start, mixing, completely different fucking faiths and people from, all over the world together, and then, people get shocked and surprised when it doesn't work out as this planned utopia that's supposed to emerge. Now, I know someone can make an argument, well, eventually, when everybody is the same, well, then we will have that utopia that I'm talking about. But the point is, we already pretty much had it, and it doesn't have to be one world where
real communism wasn't tried, don't you know, Morgan?
I know, we'll get there eventually, won't we? Yeah, we'll just have to get there. Keep trying. When does history end? 3063, is it? We'll get there. So we have to go through, numerous syntheses until we get to utopia, and then magically a classless society will emerge. But until then, we'll have to use the tools of the bourgeois to help us get there. And that will last anywhere from two weeks to 3,000-4,000 years. So just hold tight. We'll get there eventually. Again, this movement here. Again, I don't even think it has a political ideology at the moment. I don't think there's no sign of any kind of economic policies, because it's not that. It's like we said earlier. It's pretty much a grassroots movement that's born out of frustration and voicelessness, and it's finding itself at the moment. And so it's going to be no surprise that there's going to be people competing for positions of leadership, and people, having issues with, okay, well, we don't want to go in this direction, we don't want to go in that direction or this direction. It doesn't have to be, okay? It's not just going to be one movement, because if it is just one movement, then it's easily fucking toppled,
one umbrella to grab a hold of, to hijack it all.
Or one flag to move out of the fucking way, dummy. Next time you're there, look around, there's people trying to film instead of waving the fucking flag in the guy's face. But again, you can't say that in the middle of a crowd, or hit someone on the back of the head and tell them to fucking move.
She is an inspiration, an absolute inspiration. She is down here with us today, and this is what I want to speak about: is our Christianity, our values. God must be setting the hearts of the Irish on fire this week. This is treason.
Yeah, so that's the lady there. Who went to Crow Park.
All right, fair play.
Yeah, so well done.
Teresa.
Again, part of the Make Ireland Great Again movement, which is really pissing people on the left off. For I don't know. It's the Trump thing, isn't it? Again, anything kind of Trump related makes people go into meltdown.
People like Teresa stepping up. We have Enoch Burke, who showed absolute courage in the face of adversity. This is the Christian fire.
So we're straight into the Christians. Obviously, this guy is,
Yeah, and it's not like, there's been people who fucking, sacrificed, that weren't Christian, like very recently put through the fucking ringer for freedom.
Yeah, it's a rough one, and I think that's a prison scar, is it? I've only seen that scar appear on people's faces in one circumstance, so that's normally prison scar. I don't know, maybe it's a work accident or something like that.
That we need to get this country out of the absolute hellhole we're in at the moment, because without it, we are not going to make it. We've had a week where the Irish are being dehumanised, and as some of you know, it's step 4 or 5 on the way to a genocide. We need the faith of our forefathers who stood up against Vikings, the Normans, the English, and even at the tip of a sword would not bend the knee, would not give up their faith. This is the kind of courage that we need to get us out of the situation we're in right now.
No, it's a Rolls with you.
We will get them out. Don't worry, we have battles ahead of us.
Hi, how are you? I'm one of the organisers of Carol Says No. I'm also guilty of...
I know her.
Doing that.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing woman.
Yeah. So that's the woman who's responsible for the "Are You Gay" thing we did last week. She was the person who interviewed that Nigerian asylum seeker in Donegal. Yeah.
Isn't she also the one that made Patriot Protest cry?
I don't know. I haven't heard of that.
She was in Trim.
Oh, is that her as well? All right.
I
Fair
think
play
so.
Right.
I recognize her face and all. I do. I swear to God. It must be.
The gay migrant up in Letterkenny the other week. his wife and 2 kids at home. That game. Sorry, he's bisexual. He's bisexual. Yeah, that was me.
Wow.
Lads, the country is in a very bad state. We are being invaded. We are being taken over. We are being replaced. But we have...
I have to say something like, is this woman behind her coat or what's going on? I've never seen someone move their tongue around that much.
Wait. Let me move us to the top, right? Oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, you're just kind of, accentuating it by just moving it back.
No, I'm just trying to get it back. Okay,
all right. Oh, for fuck's sake!
I'm just trying to rewind it back, like so we can get it. All right, maybe from there.
Sorry, he's bisexual. He's bisexual. Yeah, that was me. Lads, the country is in a very bad state. We are being invaded. We are being taken over.
All right, I'm done.
We are being replaced, but we have been underestimated. Big time. They have no idea. Look at all of this. They have no idea what is coming. We are not going to stop. We're going to get bigger, better, stronger, and louder. This is only a warm-up, lads. We're only getting started, okay? Yeah? We haven't even taken the gloves off yet. So then they start packing away their offices because their days in Dáil are numbered. I was jailed unlawfully for 4 days.
That's my girlfriend now.
Yeah, that's her. Good, strong country woman to keep you in line. Like, jumping 4 a.m, milking the cows.
Week before Christmas, a mother of 2 by the Irish so-called Free State. While known criminals, rapists, paedophiles and murderers walk our streets freely.
Murderers are walking our
And given a
streets,
new-
guys.
Again, it's a little bit over the fucking top. Like, let's be honest. Like, it's a little bit dramatic.
No, I was nitpicking her grammar. Murderers are
Well,
walking
yeah.
our
I'm just
streets.
surprised you held together so long. Like, and you only picked it up with her. I was just transfixed by their fucking nose. Like,
Jeez, yeah, I mean, it's dreadful, man. That's a really bad angle for her.
yeah, I know, and the zoom doesn't help either. Like,
Identity, prisoner 125204. And why? Because I spoke out and told the truth. I told the truth. Because I dared to challenge them, the system. But they forgot one thing. They can jail me. They can even try and silence Michelle Keane. But they will never defeat the Irish people.
She just referred to herself in the
third
person. Wow.
I know. Wow. Be warned, people. Bit of an ego involved here.
To me, Hall Martin, that traitor who called us mongrels. We do not bow to Simon Harris. We do not bow to the unelected bureaucrats in Europe, in Brussels. We do not answer to globalist suits in silence. Even voices in the Dáil, like Michael Healy-Rae and his political elites, have all tried to silence me. So I say to Michael Healy-Rae and his elites, let them jail me again. Let them jail me again. But I ask you, Cork, the rebel county, if they shut me up, will you rise up in my place?
She's good at what she does, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm too
I call her
fucking
my
cynical.
girlfriend,
Like,
you know.
yeah, I know. Like, picking up your girlfriend. Yeah, I just can't. I can't buy into it. I don't know. Maybe if I wasn't there with the camera, I may have got more swept up in the emotion of the moment. But no, it reminds me of being in a fucking GAA locker room, you know, and the coach comes in at halftime and he's trying to G you up to get out there and just give it one more fucking try, lads. Come on, lads, it's the quarter final. Like, if you don't do it now, What are you going to do? Are you going to let Micheál Martin get you down? Like the lad at number 2 on the opposite team. That's Micheál Martin's son. Like Micheál fucking Martin's son's over there. Like lads, and you're going to tell me you're going to let lose to Micheál Martin? Come on. Are we not from the rebel county or not, lads? Do it for Michael fucking Collins, lads. Michael Collins is looking down on you now. I need 2 points in the first 10 minutes or you're all fucking dead.
In my place, will they shut you up? I can't hear you. Will they shut you up? I can't hear you. Will they shut you up? Irish people. So I ask you, are you ready? Are you ready to stand up for your country, for your children, for your country? Because when ordinary Irish people stand together, we do extraordinary things. Gaurav Mila Mohagan, Chucky I'm calling another speaker. We have Malachi Steenson.
Yeah. I see.
All right.
So Malachi. Malachi got down there on short notice. Looks like he hasn't shaved, which is understandable, you know. Now we just moved past Malachi. Character from Star Wars. So people probably know. If you don't know, this is Ezra Levant. There, and you know, I suppose I half expected Ezra to be there. He's been covering things in Ireland for maybe a year, 2 years, maybe possibly longer. I don't know. You know, I don't come across Ezra very, very often, and I don't think I was.
It was actually a year ago. He was down in the canal, and some migrant got in his face.
Yeah. So he's been covering that, and again in Canada, like so he's been around for a long enough time. You know, had a political magazine in Canada. I think he's trained as a lawyer. Right wing or far right figure. Was very successful as a debater in college in Canada as well. And you know, made his own way in life, made his own money through the magazine. Then I think he joined up with some journalistic outfit, and eventually went on to found his own outfit. What's his
Rebel Media?
Rebel Media, yeah. So there's himself, I think, a couple of other guys involved as well, and they cover stories throughout the world with a right wing tint, you know, and he's been following a lot of events in the UK, particularly with Tommy Robinson. So he's interviewed Tommy Robinson a couple of times. I think when Tommy first came out of prison this time, the first person to interview him was Ezra. I think Ezra was there to meet him when he got out of prison, and it's like the interview took place in the first couple of hours. And but just with Ezra, like, so obviously, let's say on a human level, you're going to be happy when you see the likes of this happening in Ireland, if you're ideologically aligned with it, you know, like, so you go, for him, I imagine it's very frustrating being in Canada because there's probably nothing happening. I don't know, maybe there is, but since the trucker movement, I haven't seen any kind of dissent in Canada at all. They recently had an election and they've elected a central banker, you know. We from, you know, this little island, we can't really say much. We've elected the same shower cunts since the beginning of the state, you know. So it's we can't throw any shade on Canadians on that front. Maybe their system is just as bent as ours, and it's never going to change. But I can imagine it's good spiritually to, you know, travel to these places. Okay, well, there's movement happening here. Hopefully, maybe one day this will transfer to Canada and something will start to change in Canada. From a journalistic viewpoint, it makes sense to go to these places, especially with social media, because it gives them an uptick in views. It's current, and, you know, again, like stuff with when he was talking to the refugees on the canal. I think one refugee lad started giving him shit, you know, and grabbing his dick and shouting at him, and that's great for social media, you know, like
no, not grabbing Ezra's dick, by the way. He was doing the thing where you grab your balls and thrust your groin forward, like
yeah.
I
never understood that really. Like, it's like, you know, am I exciting you, or are you going to sexually assault me here? What's going on? Like, it makes no real fucking sense. Yeah, sorry. So to see, you're distracted by the dick. And then, of course, we've recently seen Ezra again in Ireland at the Dublin protest, where he came across the great Fuhrer himself, Justin Barrett, who I believe you told me had a heart attack recently.
I don't know if that was supposed to be known, but yeah, I guess it's out of
Shit!
the bag now. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Well, he may or may not have had a.
Oh well, he was in good spirits while recovering in hospital, and he's out.
All right, I thought, but I didn't know. I didn't know that information wasn't for public consumption. I just assumed it was put out there. So we can scrub that if needs be. But yeah, it's almost like being highly agitated all the time is bad for your heart. Like it gives you problems. Deathly silence. Any Justin fans, just it's okay. You know, it happens to fucking everybody. But the last time we saw Ezra in Ireland was with that confrontation with Justin Barrett, where Justin blamed him for the death of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Wild stuff, man.
Yeah, if not personally, collective guilt, because Ezra, as you can probably tell, is of an Ashkenazi lineage. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And so, but just the way he's looking at Malachi, like it's almost overly.
It's a bit much, isn't it?
It is. It's like adoration. It's like it reminds me if one of my children does something well, and I'm particularly proud of them. Like I've gone to the end of a school concert or it's a graduation, and they've just announced, okay, valedictorian for 2025 is, Harry Reeves, and I'm there looking, oh Harry, I'm so proud of you, son. Like you've done your own man fucking proud, like, and it's that look of adoration, and finally, he's made it. I'm so proud. But why would Ezra feel that way towards Malachi? One, okay, well then, he's familiar with the man. I think he's interviewed him once or twice. Maybe they get on very well. But I don't know. I have a sour feeling, so we'll play it on. We'll hear Malachi talk for a moment. Only a minute or two of Malachi talking, because he never really says anything different than what he normally says, which is, stay calm, don't panic, don't burn anything yet, don't kill anybody yet. Not mentioning my Marxist roots.
We have Malachi Steenson from Dublin inner city. Lads, I can't believe the amount of you that is here today. It's absolutely amazing. Up Cork, the Rebel County. Welcome, Malachi.
How many times are these guys going to suck their own dicks? The Rebel County. Oh, fuck off.
It's woke county. Really.
We all right on that? It's fabulous to be here today in the Rebel County. And as I look across the crowd, from the ground you can't actually see how big it is, but from here you can. When people say to you, what do these rallies achieve?
What is that about?
I think he's signaling.
Because I mean, like, you would think, oh yeah, he's bending his ear so he can hear better, but then he lets go.
Yeah.
That's an MK Ultra signal or something.
Yeah, and because the speaker, like, there's a massive fucking speaker. My own ears are still recovering, just like 3 feet away from Ezra. So I'm here. Ezra's no more than 3 feet away from me, and that large speaker is again no more than 3 feet away to my right. So it's not like you couldn't hear. You can hear there, like, it's so loud from the recording that it's clipping, and I had to bring it down in editing as well, just so it doesn't blow people's eardrums out. So it's not that he can't fucking hear him, or he's telling him to speak louder. Or itchy ear, maybe. I've never seen anybody scratch their ear like that. Like, so
yeah,
you just
more of a rub.
Yeah.
From here you can. When people say to you, what do these rallies?
Yeah.
You see, he moved his head in a very deliberate way. And look, we're not being schizo here, right? There's something going on here.
I don't know. Maybe he's sweating, or it was kind of it wasn't that
It's
warm.
sweating from the one gland he has that's behind his ear.
Yeah, the chew gland. There are different people. There's sweat. It's the humidity in Ireland. It's a devil to deal with altogether. So I don't know. Maybe he's like it is MK Ultra. Maybe Malachi sees that sign, and Ezra, who is his handler, his Mossad handler, when he sees him, turn his head to the side, rub behind his ear. It's Manchurian candidate time. Like he just, Malachi immediately goes into a trance. He's given that speech that he's been trained to give numerous times.
Achieved. Why do we bother? These are done for a number of reasons, and you can see the way the movement grows through these rallies. It gives confidence to people who know what's the right thing to say and do, but are afraid to come out. When they see the numbers that are out, they will come out, and more people are realising what's going on in this country. Let me send a very clear message to Micheál Martin.
You in the Zoom.
We are not the Mongols.
I have to make it dramatic, Fuck all happening, like, so use the tools at your disposal.
I don't know. I think he's fascinating. Every single little micro expression.
Yeah.
And then, the massive nose.
I know, yeah, it's unavoidable. It looks like
almost looks like a part of his glasses,
I was
doesn't
about to say that as well. If he took those glasses off, the nose would come off with it. Like all he's missing is the Groucho Marx moustache. Also, I believe, from Ashkenazia, Groucho himself.
We are thoroughbreds, and we will take this nation back from the political class who are beholden to the international world. Get on, you boy. We don't care what Brussels says. We are going to take this country and run it for the benefit of its people. The only thing the political class are capable and good at in this country is waiting lists and failures. And we will take back power in this people through a peaceful movement. We don't need guns or bombs. We are doing this by the mobilisation of tens of thousands of people. Since the rally in Dublin on the 26th of April, there have been protests every day somewhere in this country.
That's not to suggest Philip Dwyer is a member of the British Army. Make it out what you want with the editing. I'm honestly not suggesting that. It's just
it was a nice fade in. I like.
I'm just a bit of a troublemaker, and I like fucking around. But the important there, Malachi again at the end of the speech, to re-emphasize for a couple of different reasons. One, because it can easily be thrown at the movement or that movement that it's violent. It's the underclass. It's essentially it's an unruly mob who could explode at any moment, and to a large extent, that's true. Like it could, and left to its own devices, it probably would. I think that's a lyric from a pop song from the 90s as well. Like, so I feel like singing. I must try that some night, see if I can get a whole song into a monologue without anybody noticing. So he has to, kind of project that image forward in order to bring more people into the movement, or to these rallies. Because where it goes from here, I don't know, like this kind of, constant fucking rally after rally after rally, it only has a certain lifespan before people just fucking tire of it, Even something as large as, the Gulf War protest in Ireland, it's probably the biggest protest ever in Ireland, when there was almost...
You mean 2003, right?
Yeah, 100,000 to 150,000 people on this, massive fucking...
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, me too.
Incredible.
What the fuck, Paul Murphy? How managed he get on the stage is but that's what he fucking does. Like he co-opted that, and again made nothing of it anyway. But even eventually people just tire about where's this going? What's the fucking point?
Yeah. There
But
was a
Malachi,
huge drop off after that.
yeah,
It was like a climax, and then
yeah. So yeah,
existential dread, and then you go back to sleep.
yeah, yeah. People realize, okay, well, really, okay, we've shown our displeasure about something, but what else can we do beyond that? Nothing. But that's on an international front. So this is different. This is local. It's domestic. It actually it does affect us. But the problem is at the moment, for anything to change on mass, it's only affecting a certain segment of society in real terms. And this is this section of society here. And that's because all these men, and this is really only around, IPAS immigration. Let's put it that way. I can't even. I confuse myself now if the refugees are fucking asylum seekers. I think they're asylum seekers. It's because these people, en masse, are the ones who are being put into these communities. All the IPAS centres go into working class / underclass communities, and they have to deal with the fallout, and then services drop off, and then they're competing with these fucking new people. And for them, it's a disaster. Nobody's listening. They send, imaginary teams into the community to try and convince them to accept it, which again is a fucking nonsense. Like, oh yeah, like that will work. Like you couldn't send Jesus Christ himself in to talk people around from accepting the most retarded solution to a problem. Would you like a playground to go with your brown people? Will that seal the deal for you? Would you like to keep the post office open for you? How about we plant some flowers at the roundabouts? Will that make things better? No, it won't make things fucking better. So outside of that, majority of people, in a real day-to-day terms, people aren't being affected by it. So they still don't see the demographic replacement. They can't bring their minds to think what the country will look like in 30, 50, 70, 3 weeks fucking time. Let alone in another generation. Maybe that will change. I don't know. We spoke earlier. Patter identified the problem, but that's all well and good. But Patter really should be of a mind that if he does have any genuine intentions to do something about it, I don't think he does.
He'd have done something by now.
Or he would have had the fucking wherewithal to realise, okay, well, here's a captive audience that he could shape in some way, shape, or form. He can't now because he's already fucking despised by these people.
Well, he's shat all over them. Like after, doing a number of things to piss these people off, he also then went on fucking gripped to shit all over them once more.
Just to do it once more, like from a height this time. All his building, reefed his fucking jogs down and unceremoniously shat all over them. While McGurk wiped his ass when he was done, and fed him fucking laxatives throughout. I think you left that poor lady over there with the large nose and blonde hair out, Patter. Would you mind just shitting on her a little harder, please? So he's done. Where this goes, does this translate into a political movement or a political party? I don't think so. I think it's so fucking fractured to so many people trying to become leaders of it that it's only going to crumble by the wayside unless people kind of accept the political party structure as it stands, where someone like Malachi becomes the leader of this particular movement, and then they try to transfer it into votes. It's very difficult because it's not like America. You can't just put Malachi forward and then everybody has a binary choice between Malachi or someone fucking else. Our political system is fucked. It's designed to keep the 2 or 3 major parties in power with a sprinkling of I don't know what to call them around the edges to keep the and the kind of far left people.
Well, republics are specifically designed to resist instability and change, because once they're made, they're perfect and they don't need to change. So
but there's some good reason for that as well. We don't want absolute fucking chaos either, because that's just going to be worse. It's nice and romantic, the idea of complete chaos and absolute change. But have a look at the French Revolution and just ask yourself where you would be in that society. Like, would you be shoving someone onto a stage, or would you have been being shoved on to a stage to have your fucking head unceremoniously?
I mean, the most appropriate analogy there is actually the Maoist revolution, where one day you are shoving someone on the stage,
Yeah.
and then the next day someone else is shoving you on the stage.
Yeah, that works much better. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just got to be careful what we wish for.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think this will,
Mm.
carry on for maybe another year, possibly to the next election cycle. I don't know. I know there's another gathering in Limerick, and then there's one in Dublin on the 22nd of July, which will probably be larger than the previous one because it has some momentum, But ultimately, where it goes, I don't know. It has to transfer into something, otherwise, it's just going to
Yeah.
dissipate and vanish into
Yeah. Going
nothingness.
back to my climax analogy, it needs to go into a woman and impregnate her.
Yeah,
It
that's
can't
what the
just
next
end
speech.
up in a condom on the ground.
We need you on that fucking stage, man. This movement needs to come in some bitch right away. The ball bag of the movement is heavy. It needs to be expressed now.
Yeah, have you not read your Bible? You shall not spill your seed on the ground.
There you go. Yeah. What's that line of we spilled more seed than Muhammad Ali at a bird feeder? No more. No more. Yes. The calm of democracy must spread. All right.
Fuck me, man.
Yeah. So I don't know where the fuck it will go, really. Or perhaps it's just a containment. It's a way to keep that anger
I mean,
and
that's
possible chaos contained and focused
it's
in a
the way
direction that
it's
goes nowhere,
always fucking been. Like, is there a reason for you to think that it's somehow different this time around?
No, but again, I just don't know if it's, if it's deliberate, like if it's more nefarious, if there are, handers involved, and if the people leading this, if they are indeed controlled opposition, or if it's just a genuine thing where the likes of say someone like a Malachi would just go, okay, I know where this is going. It needs to be shaped and contained. Because if it does explode, it's not going to be fun for a lot of people. And it just depends, what benefits the explosion brings. And we'll move on to that when we move up north and have a look at what's happening in the loyalist community in Ballymena about the results that they've achieved with the actions they